Here we go again, folks. Despite the copyright strikes, the threat from league mates, we will forge onward. Welcome to the Why Do Boys Make Podcasts, where we will continue to break down the latest news from the world famous Why Do Boys Play Games Fantasy Football League. And I say we because I'm joined by my co-host, Fitzy. Fitzy, how are you doing?
Hey, Corby, I'm doing good in the face of adversity, we'll say. You're right. It's interesting to feel like a real journalist behind enemy lines right now. But you're right. We're fighting against the big media as well as big fantasy, even within the league. So it's good to be spreading the truth with you.
Yeah, definitely. I certainly feel like Brian Williams when he was shot down when he was in that helicopter,
I know how you feel, but we're not in a tailspin. We are, in fact, on the rise.
Could not agree more. So let's start today with a couple of quick questions for each other. Let's play a quick little fantasy game.
I like it. Let's go.
Who's a player on your team that you love?
Oh man, that's such a good question, Corby, because that's why I play fantasy football. It's not because I like to see numbers go up on the screen. It's because I like to collect the players who I like the most. So I'm not picking my best player, but the one that I personally just like the most. And on the one hand, I do love my 49ers babies. I can't give up on Trey Sermon and Brandon Ayuk. But the one player who I'm actually most hyped for when I see him on Red Zone, it's Devin Singletary. I was alone with Alex on Sunday unpacking boxes and when he ripped off that long TD run, and I got so excited that my voice cracked in front of her.
Do you think you like him the most because of the amount of effort it took for you to get him?
Absolutely. If I had drafted him for $8, I wouldn't care about him at all. I think he stinks. But I traded for him. And that, if nothing else, that should really speak for the power of a trade, because the trade made me have a lot of fun on Sunday. So maybe we should all be looking for trades more.
Let's get some trades going, huh? I'm going to answer my own question and say, not only is he the best player on my team, he's the best player in the history of football. And folks, that's Tom Brady.
Oh, okay.
The man who kisses his son on the mouth for a long amount of time. He's thrown 9 touchdowns in 2 games. Sign me up for more of these fantasy points from this QB. Because, we have to carry
Buster Badfield.
Did you see the stat that he's something like 14 touchdowns away from more touchdowns in his 40s than in his 20s?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh my God. I want to know whatever he is drinking out of his son's mouth, because he seems to be sucking the youth out of him. It's incredible stuff.
It's amazing stuff.
So I like that question, Corbin. We'll play a little bit of good cop, bad cop here, because that's the player on your team that you like the most. I want to hear what player on your team that you stare at him on your roster and you think, why do I own this bum?
For a player that I hate, it's going to have to be Najee Harris, and it has nothing to do with him as the talent. It's more the team that he's on. Every time I watch the Steelers, I watch Big Ben fumble around in his big dumb helmet and just miss after miss. And I just hate that O-line, and I just hate that team. I think it's just not a fun team to watch.
That's a hard one to go against. On my end, man, it is so hard to pick. I think my team is going to be a bottom dweller this year. And God, wait, hold on. Let me check. God damn it. At the time of recording, I still have Le'Veon Bell on my team. So if you want to count him, yeah, I'm surprised he's still there. But if we want to say at the time of release, I don't even know, like Ramondre Stevenson's on my team. If you want to count him, I don't know, maybe I'll drop him. And if you want to count him out, it's probably Chuba Hubbard. People are like, oh, his skill set is so similar to Christian McCaffrey. He's the clear backup. He's the guy to own. But like, I don't know. If you gave Christian McCaffrey 8 rushes, how many yards do you think he'd get? Like probably more than 10, right? Is that really a similar skill set? I don't know. They're all bums. Everyone sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So with that downer note, let's bring it back up a little bit. So we did a little bit of self-reflection, but I don't think people listen to this podcast to hear us talk about the truth of how good our teams are. They want to hear about their teams. So Corby, I want to hear from you. Same question, but it has to be somebody on a different team. One player who you love on another team.
Without a doubt, it's Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is a guy I think I've owned 2 years in a row in this league, and this is now the year that I missed out on him. And he's like my warm blanket. I can always rely on him to get 8 or 9 targets a game and be good for catching about 5 balls, at least 5 balls a game. Like, his ceiling is absolutely insane too. I've had him in games where he scores 30 plus points. Keenan, I love him. I miss him.
You're so right on with that one. He is like a warm blanket. Just snuggle on up with your 11 targets and 8 catches for 102 yards, and that's just so comfortable.
I'll eat that. I love
that pick. Now, for my side, I think we're picking players both who we've owned in the past, but I love Kyler Murray.
Oh yeah.
With him being such at the top of the league, though, I wanted to go with somebody I'll call it second place.
Yep.
It's my I can't explain it guy. It's Derek Carr.
Oh my God.
Corby, here's a stat for you. I follow 2 active NFL players on Twitter. One of them is Mekhi Becton, left tackle for the Jets. He just posts a bunch of memes and reactions about the Jets and his own knee surgery. He's great. He's I love following a Jet that is engaging with the fans.
Get well soon.
And the other one's Derek Carr.
Yeah. Oh God.
I've followed him for years, and he mostly tweets like weenie Christianity, oh thanks God stuff. But I just like him. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, I don't know. It's like if the New York Jets were a person always getting shit on, like, it's him, and I just appreciate that.
Yeah, I had that same relationship for a long time, and I finally let it go, and now he's going to start playing well again. So you enjoy that. You enjoy your time with Ino Anner King.
Green Day on the field.
No doubt about it.
Keeping things going. We love these players, but there's also got to be a couple players on other teams who they get offered to you in trades all the time, and you think, I would just drop this person. I wouldn't want this person on my team. They should be on the waiver wire. When I look at another team in the league, I look out there and I see Brian Edwards. I'm just kidding. I can't believe that. Nah, really. It's Peyton Barber, and it's on Tyler's team. Listen, Tyler, good at fantasy, but you're never gonna start Peyton Barber. He was old when he was keeping Rojo off the field in Tampa Bay, and now he's the 3rd stringer on the 30th ranked rushing offense in the league. Like, at least the shitty running backs I said are like a lottery ticket where maybe they could be good. Peyton Barber, I wouldn't even own him. So that's got to be my pick. Corby, I want to hear yours.
Great pick. I'm going to go with Marquez Callaway. Everyone bought into the hype during the preseason. He had a couple of big catches with a couple of touchdowns. I was always like, fuck that. I never believed in that guy. So there are better players on that team. They've got that Juwan James, that tight end there. They've got Adam Troutman. Adam Troutman's a great target over there. Yep. They got Michael Thomas come back in a couple weeks. And of course they got Taysom Hill. All these guys are way better than Marquez Callaway. So that guy should be dropped. Yeah.
You listed a couple of tight ends there. And I think you can even count the former quarterback in there as a tight end.
Yeah.
So the 3 tight end offense for the Saints is looking a lot better without Callaway on it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Next up, we've got mailbag. We're going to open it up a little bit early this episode. We're going to start with the first comment. Didn't get a lot of comments this week. Only got 3. We want to hear your voice. If you've got a question, you've got a comment, you've got anything at all, you let us know. So we'll start with Mike B. And he says, first.
Yeah, love the engagement. Again, like, even if we only get 3, that's 3 people that took the time out of their day to listen and comment, and we appreciate all of them. So next, Adam says, loved the segment on Evil Colin. That man is a villain. Bronze Boy, I call him.
I've certainly heard Adam call Colin Bronze Boy before. Can attest to that nickname. We've got one more here, and it is from Dewey Boyman. He chimes in and says,
Fools! You touch my mind, fumbling in ignorance, incapable of understanding. You dare throw rocks in your own glass houses? You pick yourselves to win every matchup, dare criticize me for ranking myself highly? And Adam, petulance narcissist. My bronze ranking is the result of one thing. A ritual sacrifice at the end of each unsuccessful season in which, by honoring the patron god of PBR gas, Theonidas, I trade my player for a bountiful future harvest by starting only Theo. Yes, it decimates my team much like the flow rushing beneath the mountains of Ararat. But just as the water retreated to welcome the coming of a new world, so too, a new year bring appropriate fortune. It is through this means I will destroy you all.
You're welcome, Corby, for winning 2 of your bets.
Yeah, I guess, Corby, I'll handle that question from the mailbag. And I almost hate to do this, but you know me. I ran the numbers here because I had to know. Is Colin correct in this statement? Yahoo claims the following about your player rating, which I'll say I believe is a great indicator of success. Ratings range from 0 to over 1,000. Your increase or decrease in rating depends on your team's performance from the previous week, and it factors in how often you win your matchups, the rating of your competition, how well you have played most recently, it quotes here, the prior 2 seasons are rated higher than ones in the past. And then finally, the number of leagues you play in. If you're successful in more matchups, your rating will increase even more. So I had to dig in just a little bit deeper to see if, in fact, Colin's correct in that his bronze ranking is 100% due to starting Theo in the consolation bracket. So first, let's clear this one up. He did indeed start only Theo in the losers bracket last year. And yes, last year's ratings do matter the most. However, Colin entered the losers bracket with a rating of 596. Now we're going to be throwing some numbers out here. I'm going to call them, for simplicity's sake, Yahoo points. When you have under 600 Yahoo points, you are rated bronze. And when it's 600 to 699, that's silver. So just baseline in there, 596 Yahoo points is bronze. He entered the consolation with a first round bye. So his Theo team was there, but it didn't matter. In week 2, in his week 14 matchup, it's sort of a coin flip. I put this together and Colin's bench scored 214.5 points compared to Adam, his opponent there. Starters and bench combining for only 197.62. But Colin's bench included 4 quarterbacks to Adam's 3 total team quarterbacks. So it really would have come down to Colin start-sit decisions that week in the losers bracket. Even so, for argument's sake, let's give him the win, even though I think that's probably 50-50, just to make it easy for Colin to get up to silver. He then faced you, my lovely co-host, in week 16, where you had 164 points despite starting 2 zeros and getting 2 goose eggs. If you plug in some average Joes, or heck, even just the ones that were on your bench, and boom, you're flirting with 200 in a meaningless week 16 matchup, Colin's team loses that one, Theo or no Theo. So right there, it's questionable if he would have won in the losers bracket with or without Theo, but I had to look deeper. Colin entered week 5 of the 2019 season with a rating of 809 Yahoo points. Good enough to have him ranked platinum. Since then, he has shaved off over 200 points to land him at 593 as of today. And in that time frame, yes, the playoffs have been a tough time for Colin. Even in 2019, when his team made it a run to the bronze medal game, he tragically lost to Taylor. And because, as we said earlier, Yahoo points factor in the rating of your competition, I swear I've never seen this. Colin and his non-Theo squad dropped 40 Yahoo points in a single week. Unprecedented. So with that counted in over the last 2 seasons, Colin has lost 58 Yahoo points, or on average 9.7 Yahoo points per week in the playoffs. I looked at his regular season rating when he's not starting Theo every week, and he averaged 8 Yahoo points down per week, a total of 209. So what have we learned? Have we learned that hubris and narcissism have many faces? Have we learned that Colin still has time to Google spiritual mountains of the world before he leaves a YouTube comment. But well, I, for one, am taking this nugget that I stumbled across in my research. Corby, let me ask you this. What percent of Yahoo owners do you think are ranked silver at any given time?
Out of everybody?
Out of everybody.
I would say 70%.
70% are silver. How about gold? What do you think the gold rating is?
I would say 20%.
Sure. So Yahoo claims that to get to gold, you will have to be in the top 20% of all fantasy players. The top 5% get platinum and diamond. So in the top 20%, you get gold. Silver, it is claimed that only the 60th to 80th percentile. So basically, you need to be well above average to be silver. And they claim that the bottom 60% of all players are given a bronze rating. So this implies that a bronze ranking should be applied to 6 per 8 teams per league on average. And you can still be bronze and still be above average. So I think what I've learned, nay, unearthed, is that Colin wrote this line in Yahoo's source code to make himself feel better about his historic collapse over the last 2 seasons as he has become the bronze boy.
Thank you, Fitzy, for that analysis.
I want to close with one note for the other fantasy managers listening. We are probably going to get to do rants on you as well, but Colin demands to be ranted about. Talk about narcissist.
All right, next up, let's talk about the matchups that happened around the league from last week. Let's start with Corby versus Eric. Corby, I picked myself, Fitzy picked myself, and the coin also picked me. And I ended up winning this.
Hey, shout out to you on the 2 hundo burger, huh? Aaron Jones and Najee Harris might not suck after all, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It was fun watching Aaron Jones go absolutely crazy when it didn't matter. It was fun to get a 200 for sure.
That's great. Yeah. And now on Eric's side of the ball, I'll say, Calvin Ridley showing up with a touchdown has to feel nice. But also, I mean, I was with you, Eric, in thinking that Kittle would be better than Waller this year. And I'm right there with you in being wrong on that pick so far. I don't know what you do with Cordarrelle Patterson putting up points on your bench. That's a guy who just must not be fun to roster. What do you do with him? I'm happy he scored, but I don't know what to do. In our next matchup, we had Tyler taking on Mike B. And Tyler won despite a round of Mike B for Corby, myself, and the coin.
Mike's having a pretty rough time right now. Getting into the league, he's 0-2. I think things will get better for him once he begins to start a second quarterback.
Yeah, and you know what else he should start is his Giants. I mean, he benched him. Daniel Jones is QB1 at this point. And even Saquon, sure. He's someone who you can bench at this point if you've got better options. But come on, man. I mean, Jamal Williams is a nice guy and all, but that's no good. You can't put Jamal Williams over Saquon, can you?
Yeah, probably not. Next matchup here, we've got Chris P versus Brandy, where Chris P won the matchup. I picked Brandy, Fitzy picked Brandy, and the coin picked Chris P. It was definitely a fun nail biter to watch with Brandy. We were sitting in bed watching the game, hoping that Robert Tonyan wouldn't catch a pass and that the Lions would continue to score. And then Robert Tonyan caught a touchdown and Brandy went to bed.
Yeah, I mean, hey, so we both got this pick wrong. And the saddest thing here is now I can't make a Brandy is going to be 13-0 bet with you this week. It was a tough beat having Kamara and Corey Davis combined for less than 10 points. But this team is still sneaky deep. I believe you're right. She's going to make a bounce back here, right?
Better days ahead for Brandy and Chris P. Hopefully you can keep up the momentum. Looking good so far.
Yeah, on the Chris P side, yeah, Mike Ashley Williams leading the way, huh?
Yeah.
You want to talk about a bunch of startable bench players? Check out this team and ignore Gerald, Everett. Skip over him. But the rest of these guys are all great, super deep teams going up against each other. They're going to be tough outs when bye weeks hit.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, we've got Taylor versus Chris Cloud. Taylor was the victor. I picked Taylor. Fitzy picked Taylor, and the coin picked Chris Cloud. Another huge margin of victory win for Taylor. He goes to show us he is pissed, and we are in for a world of hurt.
absolutely right, Corby. I thought it was Brandy, but we might be looking at a 13-0 contender right here.
Yeah.
It is contingent on Tyler Lockett finally becoming consistent at scoring at least 25 points every week. But if he can do that, then the rest of the league's in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
Our next matchup was Chris Colby taking on Adam. Chris Colby won, and I was the only one on Chris Colby. Corby and the coin were both on Adam. So you all had Adam, huh? And what does Chris Colby do? He drops the 200 burger on you. I was right about Kyler Murray. I was right about Rondell Moore, even though I was wrong to trade him away.
I'd like to make another apology on this podcast. I'd like to apologize to Chris Colby. It was wrong for me to not put respect on your name and insult you like that. And if you know Derrick Henry, don't tell him who I am, because I'm afraid of him. Adam, see you next year, buddy.
One thing I got to compliment Adam on, he's got the fastest team name change in the West, because he broke the news to me about Carson Wentz's 2 sprained ankles.
Me too.
Unbelievable how quick he is with that. And the new logo too. I mean, big shout out to Adam. Even in loss, you are a victor, my friend.
To close it up here, we've got Fitzy versus Colin, where Colin was the victor. I was the only one who picked Colin. Fitzy and Coin had Fitzy.
I don't have a lot to say. I mean, I did better than I thought I would. Worse than I needed to. And I'm in danger, Corby. I'm in big trouble.
I don't think that your team is as bad as you think it is, but we can talk about that in our next segment. Just for a quick recap on the current standings, we've got Fitzy at 8-4, Corby at 5-7, and Coin at 4-8.
You got a couple back on me this week, but me continuing to ride Chris Colby really, really keep me out in front. So shout out to you, Chris. Wouldn't be the same without you.
So this week for Pick'ems, let's start with matchup Mike versus Chris P.
Yeah, I think so. Some of us already know this. On Thursday Night Football, I bet Tyler that Saquon Barkley would go under 32.5 rushing yards in the first half. I really struggled to find half by half box scores of the recap, so I don't actually know what his second half stats were, but he had 16 yards on 12 attempts, other than one big run that happened to be in the first half. That cost me $5. I'm salty. Saquon sucks, and Chris P gets the win here.
Oh, well, I have a contrarian. I'm going to actually pick Mike. As I said earlier, once he starts as second quarterback in Daniel Jones, he's going to start putting up points. So I think that's going to help a lot. And I think that Wild Debo is going to keep his stuff going as well. So I'm taking Mike for sure.
Great. And joined live on air for the very first time, I'd like to introduce the coin, everybody. And in this pick, the coin rides with Mike. So you might be onto something here, Corby.
All right.
Likes Mike too.
Next matchup, we've got Corby versus Adam. Adam has the worst team in the league. I give myself.
Man, I got to tell you, you're fresh off a 200. You deserve the 52% lean that the Yahoo projections are giving you. But I project that Adam's running backs finally do something this week. So in a tough race, I think he ekes by you. Plus, his defense is projected for more points than yours. So that's got to count for something. And the coin agrees with me here. The coin believes Adam to be the superior team. Next on my list, we've got T squared Taylor versus Tyler. Got to pick Tyler here. But honestly, this one could go either way. If Amari Cooper or Deontay Johnson on Taylor's team miss time, Taylor's going to have to start the wide receiver 2 for the Raiders. And I just can't trust that with my pick. Taylor's team is a glass cannon, could score 200. But with injuries, it's going to be tough. And on a small crack forming in the glass cannon.
Yeah, this is a hot matchup, right? Battle of the undefeateds. Something's got to give. And I couldn't agree more with you, Fitzy. I'm going to take Kamish as well, just for the fact of Deontay might not being able to play and Taylor's bench being full of Blake Bortles and Deshaun Watson and all that.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a round of Tyler here. The coin's rolling with him as well.
Next up, we've got Eric versus Colin. By Colin's logic, he's got an easy win with a 30-point win projection. Eric is finally going to sit Big Ben, so that's a plus. But at the same vein, no Henderson could spell trouble for the defending champ. So give me Colin.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Colin's team is really scary. From the logo being Thanos to a Yahoo projection that I just have never seen anything quite like it. The way he's outpacing us all in Yahoo projection, and that's become a bit of a joke here. But truth be told, his team's also pretty good. Even though I think Mike Davis is going to score less than the 15 he's projected for on Colin's team, and Derek Carr is going to score more than 18 projected on Eric's side, I'm still going to give this one to Colin. And the coin agrees. The coin is rolling with Colin.
All right.
Next up, we've got me versus Chris Cloud.
Now let me start off, Fitzy, because like I said earlier, I think your team is better than you think it is. You've got DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, who is a fantasy god, and Devontae Adams. Man, I love all three of those guys. So I'm taking the co-hostess with the mostest. I'm taking you.
Thank you, Corby. I really appreciate that. I should go back and pick you maybe next week. For this week, I am going to pick myself. And it's not out of hubris. It's not out of pride. It's because I think my strategy of drafting 2 defenses is finally going to pay off this week. Trey Sermon is still in the sneaky phase of becoming sneaky good. But y'all are going to be glad this isn't the keeper league when him and Ayuk blow up later this year. I think my team's okay enough to get it done this week. And we do have one contrarian here. That is the coin. The coin is rolling with Chris Cloud. So, Chris, somebody has picked you here. Congrats.
Finally, let's end with Brandy versus Chris Colby. Like I said before. Sorry, Chris. And I'm sorry, Derrick Henry. Your team means business right now. You guys are rolling. Now, I don't want to say this out of disrespect towards Brandy, because I still think Brandy's got a great team, and I think that they will be able to pick it up as the season rolls along. But I'm taking Chris Colby here.
Yeah, so this is a tough one. This is the toughest one for me because I like both of these teams. I really do. We've got 2 big fans of the program going up against each other too, so it's hard to pick against a fan. But I just don't see how Brandy can win this one. I mean, Chris's team has the guy I should have spent all my money on in Kyler Murray. He's going to win. But Brandy, the coin believes in you. So the coin picks Brandy.
What do you say we roll into bets of the week, Fitzy?
Oh, I'm ready, Corby.
All right. So to recap from last week, we had a bet where I said a trade would happen before Saturday. And one happened the very next day after we recorded this. Our second bet of the week was Taylor Heineke going for 26.5. I took the over, Fitzy took the under, and he went for $41.
Yeah, I woke up and had lost the bet by the time I opened my phone. Fastest $10 I've ever lost right there. Yeah, congrats to you on that one. I'll spoil the recap. Yeah, even the series for the year at 2-2. We've got plenty of season longs still in the pot. But for weekly bets, 2-2, I'm excited to see what happens the rest of the season.
And that starts right now. Fitzy, today I've only brought one bet with you.
All right. In that case, do you mind if I start then?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
we can sprinkle you in.
Yes.
We have had some fantasy explosions so far this year from a team perspective. We've had 4 teams score over 200 points. But this weekend, I believe that we will have under 0.5 200 burgers in the Why Do Boys Play Games League. We're not hitting bye weeks yet. Still could happen. I have to bet on parity.
I think somebody will.
I love it.
Yeah, I think somebody will.
I love it.
Let's keep it up. Let's keep the high scores. Big numbers are great. For my bet, not a league-based bet, a real football bet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you're aware, Fitzy, but the Denver Broncos are playing the New York Jets this week.
Oh, boy.
I would like to make a bet that Javonte Williams will have more total yards than Michael Carter and Tevin Coleman combined.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I wish I could take that bet, Corby. I just like the Jets just might make that happen. You've got to bet.
Great. I love this bet.
I can't stop myself.
I love this bet.
I've got another football, not league-based, but football-based bet for this week.
Okay.
It's an over-under, and it's me betting on a rookie with a lot of potential, a lot of talent, in a really tough situation. I believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to go over 2.5 passing touchdowns this weekend.
Who do they play this weekend?
They're playing the Cardinals.
I don't think he will.
Let's take it.
Yeah, another.
All right.
Finally, there's no fussing about anything or anything.
No contentious. Yeah.
These are fun ones. I like that.
Yeah. For my final bet of the week that I'm proposing to you, I'm laying down a marker. Now, first, I got to start. I will not be there, and it's going to be cold. It's the frozen tundra of Western Massachusetts. But I bet that somebody's going to jump in the lake at Otis this weekend.
Well, I'm not going to be there either, but yeah, I don't think somebody will.
All right. Tell you what, if we can get Chris Colby to be the referee on this one, we're going to go with over 0.5 dunks in the lake. It has to be up to the neck at least. I can't wait for somebody to win me $5.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to end it for episode 3 of the Why Do Boys Make podcast. Now, don't forget to smash that fucking like button. Ring the bell as well. And we'll be back next week for another episode. My name is Corby.
I'm Fitzy.
And as always, gamers, game on.